Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school. Internet.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Oh, sure, that's a real fast fade now. Dang, I ain't got time to press another button. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Ironworx right here. It is September 11th, 2023. The auspicious date. This is Josh, Walt, and Zach hanging out with you this morning. Right here, live on freeworld.fm. Probably. Still haven't checked. Still haven't reached out to Billy Ray because I'm a dick like that. I'm real curious to hear how everything went over the weekend. I mean, maybe not so curious that I actually send a text or call. It is what.
He's probably still sleeping, man. Hopefully he had a good weekend.
Yeah, hopefully he is still sleeping. How are you, Mr. Zach?
I can't complain. Sun keeps coming around, so it's always good days. Yeah. I'm excited, man. I'm ready for Flattoberfest. I'm getting pumped. I've been, with this opening coming, I've been thinking back on where I was on this day. You know? 22 years ago. And I'll never forget it. I was over at my aunt's house, down in the basement with my cousin, just waking up. And the first one hit a building, and we really didn't know or think it was an attack at that time. We were just like, what's going on? How does someone do that? Shouldn't happen. And as we're sitting there watching, and they're like, we're not sure, bam, the other one, building, there was an explosion. And yeah, that's when we started kind of freaking out. My aunt was like, you guys better go make sure your draft cards are okay. It's like, thanks, Aunt Patty. That puts me at ease. Yeah, young and dumb. I had no clue. As a conspiracy theorist truther, they got me on that one. They did. I was terrified that day. What about you? Where were you?
Hold on just a second. Let me make sure I got my stuff set up properly. I saw Nemo in chat say they were still playing music.
Yeah, Free World. I was about to tell you that too. Free World's still playing music, and somehow you've got 4 shows set up for this morning on YouTube. So whatever's happening.
Yeah, remember? Yeah, that's what I said. It tells me it won't let me do it, but then it does it. Bunch of cocksuckers. So I believe we should be going out live on freeworld.fm. I just wanted to, it's weird. My default audio out is my USB. But sometimes if it's set to default, it doesn't pick it up. I have to actually set it to the USB out for it to work. I don't know. Makes me feel
on the air might be a bit of a big word for what's actually happening over there, though. I don't know what it is, but it's asking me to confirm I'm not a robot, but I'm beginning to think it might be a robot.
How's the website? Did they get the nice, clean, content-rich website? Oh shit, that don't sound right.
Right, that's what I was saying. The audio is bad.
That's kind of creepy, actually. All right. Well, I'm going to try this. I'm going to stop that program.
Yeah, we are live at freeworld.fm.
And
I'm listening to it now. If you go into it without trying to join us and just hit play.
Yeah, it's being weird.
And then they just started playing music again.
Well, because I thought it was making creepy noises. So I stopped the broadcast, closed the program, reopened the program, started the broadcast again. Oh, now I think it is connecting. Now it's, nope, connection lost. Reconnecting. Connection established. All right, we'll see.
Well, I do hear you there now, and it sounds better.
All right, well, that's
It's not
good.
robotic, so that's a plus.
Oh. Como arigato.
Okay. Nemo is saying, you got it. All right.
Nice.
So, this is awkward as hell. I was busy having an affair, sleeping with somebody other than my wife at the time. And since we had pretty limited time, I was trying to make most of my morning. And I just remember heading back home. We were living with her parents at the time. And I remember going down into the finished basement where we were staying. And it was dark in there, save for the big, huge console, big screen TV, gigantic one. That's a pain in the ass to move that was watching. And they were watching Smoke and Towers and shit. That's about all I remember. Not entirely sure how sober I was at the time. Hard to say. 2001.
A while ago.
Yeah.
You guys got to realize we were in our early 20s at that time.
Yeah. Do I remember where I was? Yes. Do I like to talk about it particularly? No, but that's where I was.
How about you, Walter? Do you remember?
Well, yeah, I think I talked about it maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday. I don't know. We where I was living, I always made a trip home late, early, whatever you want to say, late, I guess, early morning, whatever. And I was listening to Art Bell, and on the show they were talking about the answer to the Arecibo, or not Arecibo, there's another one, damn it. Anyway, a telescope where we sent off a message to the stars with details about who we are and where we are, what it makes us up, and blah, blah, blah. And a crop circle had appeared in the field that day, the 10th, I believe. It may have appeared the 8th, but they were talking about it on the 10th. And it was like, just weird. It's so bizarre where it happened, when it happened, the answer we got, all these things. I was excited because I was big into the UFO thing. So I went to bed that night expecting that tomorrow there would be, reports and people either trying to debunk it or talking about a fact that this crop circle had appeared. And the lady I was with at the time woke me up that morning. You got to wake up. You got to see what's going on in the news. And I woke up thinking, yeah, that's what I can't wait to see. And I looked at the screen and saw the first tower was already, had been hit. And as I was watching, going, oh my gosh, sure they did this to cover up, the crop circle. They hit the second one. And I'm going, well, this is, the government's doing this, because I was way ahead of things on that aspect. I was regularly getting underground newspaper subscriptions, and there was ways to feed your paranoia before the internet came around. So I had those ways. And so, like I said, this happened, and it was like, well, I at no point thought, oh God, we're under attack. But I knew our government would do anything they could to make it seem that way. So when all the crap started the next few days with the, you know, people getting powder in the mail and all that crap, and you know, go seal up your windows with this. And the whole world was losing its mind, and I had just gone through all this with, you know, Y2K, and had been pretty much convinced that it's all just a big game to sell us products and keep us scared. So I wasn't gonna play the game, and we had this big event planned. We were going to New Orleans to I don't remember if it was Lollapalooza, Jazz Festival, I don't know, one of the big outdoor events, and Tool was going to be there, and I was still liking Tool. They had not too long before that put out what was my favorite album at the time, Lateralis, and we were going to see them live with some friends. I was in Mississippi living, and my friends lived here in Louisiana. We were going to go there and have a big event for the weekend, and they all got let the fear factor, you know, because there were all these rumors of attacks on a public place, all this bullshit. I'm like, man, we've been waiting for this concert. We're not going to this concert. Are you people serious? So, and it was a thing such that it would be, you know, hard for me to get there on my own. So I wound up not seeing Tool that year, which upset me greatly over the bullshit. So to me, the effects were very personal and very bullshit related. At no point did I go, oh my God, whatever, there's a jihad on this, or, you know. And then within a week, I think I had a new issue of, I can't remember the name of that magazine, man, damn it. But it was talking about how just 6 months before that, Bush had the plans for the World Trade Center on his desk, interestingly enough. Interesting. Anyway, so yeah, that was me on the big day of bullshit. Being pissed off because they were doing bullshit that I knew they had pulled. I knew it was our government that had done it. I knew there was nobody else involved. And fucking up my Tool, man.
Fucking up my Tool.
The part that I found so crazy about it was we went to war with Afghanistan after that, but all of the hijackers were from like Saudi Arabia and places like that. Places we can't go to war with, the United Arab Emirates, and yeah, they find all these passports and all these people are from all these other places, and it's not like it was bin Laden who did it or anything like that, but they threw his face on there. That's when I started realizing, hey, wait a minute, but you said these, I mean, you found the passport like the next day or that day in the rubble. And yeah, I was just like, wait a minute, what?
We didn't even
That's
hit
when I started.
Afghanistan first, did we? That was why it got weird, is because we went into Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
We had, oh wait, well there's also there's weapons of mass destruction that we need to go get. So we're gonna go ahead and invade Iraq because 9/11.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was really, that's when I started noticing things going wrong. The day of, like when it was happening, they had me. They did. But then all this things started coming out, and it's like, wait a minute, what? And then like a week later, I saw, hey, look at, they're saying buildings. They show that's when I saw it, the BBC announcing it an hour before it happens. Or whatever, 20 minutes before Building 7 fell, they said it had already fallen.
It's in the freaking background.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Like she's literally standing in front of it, reporting on how it's collapsed.
Yeah, they're dumb, man. They are. When they're lying, they're really dumb about it. Things that happen organically, you don't find a passport in the rubble that day. Come on. At least plant the thing 3 or 4 days later as you're cleaning up or something. Yeah, it was like they were so ready to put the name on their targets and who they wanted to go blow up that they just couldn't hold it. I'm sure there was somebody there that was like, oh, I want the I got the passport. Can I put it? Can I find it? Can I find it yet? Can I find it? Can I find it yet? Yeah, crazy, man. But still, it pulled the wool over a lot of Americans' eyes. There's still a lot of Americans that just believe the official story. Let's not take the words of all the architects and engineers that want answers for this. This building was designed to withstand this. Other buildings have withstand this that weren't designed to do this. Where did we mess up? How do we, this shouldn't have happened the way that it did. We want answers. And yeah, that's when I was like, really like, whoa, these are the educated people, the people that know about this stuff that are coming out and saying, we want answers.
Oh, you want answers? All right, motherfuckers, have some answers here. We'll have a whole fucking commission. And you know what? We're going to give you shit like, oh, Shanksville, that plane just disappeared into the ground so deep we can't get it. Sorry. There's your answer.
Liquefied the ground.
Yep.
It liquefied the ground. Sure. And because they don't want, because it's a tomb now or whatever, they don't want to disturb it. Really?
Uh-huh.
What do archaeologists do?
I bet some Native Americans are scratching their heads too.
Yeah, like, wait a minute, what? You don't like messing with people's... Could have fooled me. Yeah, crazy. And it did change the country radically.
That's been America's downfall.
Yeah. I mean, there was no Department of Homeland Security before 9/11. For those of you that weren't around back in the day, TSA wasn't that hard to get through back in the day.
No, traveling used to be enjoyable.
Enjoyable. You were excited to go flying and not get molested on your way onto the plane or microwaved.
Microwaved and have your naked image broadcast across God knows where.
Yeah, it was wild.
Gotta be a patriot, though, baby. Gotta be a patriot.
You could bring a tube of toothpaste with you. You were good. Man. I was watching a movie the other night, falling asleep to it, The Dream Team. You ever seen that one? Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
In the 80s, dude, the doctors were smoking in the hospitals. You could smoke like anywhere back then. It was crazy. That was the one thing I really noticed about that movie was people just smoking everywhere. Ashtrays everywhere. And even though I am a smoker, I think that it's better this way.
Agreed.
But the TSA and all that stuff, no. Yeah.
I'm good with making
They turn
restaurants
everybody
all
into a
non-smoking. Even
potential
as
terrorist.
indefinite detainment. That wasn't a thing before 2001. At least not a thing you regularly heard about the United States government doing.
Yeah. Now, 20 years later, they do it to Americans. I mean, look at all those, what would you call them? I don't know if I'd go calling them terrorists, but the whole January 6th thing, people just walking around the building, some of them were probably still in prison and haven't spoken to a lawyer.
And the ones that are getting sentenced are getting like ridiculous sentences.
Ridiculous. But the people in Antifa and Black Lives Matters that tried to burn down the White House and actually burned a building down in front of the White House, no arrests. None. Burning down all these major cities all around the country. No arrests. Or if they're arrested, they get released immediately. Yeah, this whole country has gone so polarized. So polarized. Yeah, it's wild. It is. How much it's changed just since I've been walking the plane in this country. Now over there in New Mexico, they have done away with the Second Amendment.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to get into. The division and polarization. And then just now I was thinking, as these two conversations segue together, about the ritualistic aspect of the date of 9/11 and how they're using it for something. I don't know what the hell, but it certainly does seem to be something there. Whether it's simply the numbers or it's the astronomical alignment. Shout out LC King there in chat. Or what it is, but it just sort of then dawned on me a whole new level of creepiness to this story. Because I saw it on Saturday and like watched 45 seconds and stopped the video because I just couldn't watch anymore. 45 seconds. Once I heard why this governor suspended the Second Amendment across the state.
No, I went back and looked. It's only in the county that Albuquerque is in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so far.
Well, that's
because there was another
better.
sheriff saying how he wouldn't do this if she ordered it to be done in his county, but he's done things like that before, where he was ordered to do stuff that was unconstitutional and just did it. So there's a lot of people like, David E. Frazee, sheriff. He says, rest assured, Sheriff Wood and I are on the same page. I will not steal his thunder, and to be clear, the governor's order applies to Bernalillo County, City of Albuquerque jurisdiction only. So I didn't feel the need to make a comment. But should she expand her order to include Torrance County jurisdiction, I will not violate my oath, nor will I order my deputies to do so. I am a firm believer in the Second Amendment, and I believe that what our country needs is more good people with guns and less bad people with guns.
Yep, and there's your divide. And there it is. And that's where the metal hits the meat, is the divide within the public sector that exists that just isn't really talked about. The enforcement arm is typically not ideologically on the same page as, say, the administrative arm of the governmental inner workings. Meaning they're typically usually a little more conservative, a little more Republican, a little more freedom-based than, say, the office workers in the administration or the actual politicians themselves, as we found out.
I've met some really good sheriffs, but then I've seen some really bad ones. Like, I've been pretty blessed with most of the sheriffs that I've lived in their counties have been pretty good men, you know. Well, Indiana, most of them were all country bumpkins, you know. But even here, the sheriff isn't too bad. But yeah, there are corrupt sheriffs out there. And that's scary because they hold the law of the land. They can tell the federal government, you need to leave.
They do. But I think a lot of them, A, don't understand it, and B, they're looking for a way to circumvent this. For me, this is one of the reasons I really, it was not one of the reasons, but it was on my pro list, not my con list, for moving when we did, because the county there where we were living had just recently switched, and Like, I don't know what. It's so confusing and so devious. So the sheriff is now an administrative arm of law enforcement in St. Charles County. The law enforcement aspect of the sheriff's department now lies in a newly created county police force. So they took the sheriff's power, the sheriff's jurisdiction, and cleaved it in half and left the paperwork for the actual reeve of the shire, and then created some whole new police force for the violence part. And that just
That's not right.
Right. That's how I felt too. It just seemed real off, real wrong. And I'm sure they can justify it, and I'm sure they can spin it in the media and play it to the public to it's just not a thing, or fucking not say anything at all and just do it right under our noses. And what are you going to fucking do about it? But just that the way they divided and broke it up and almost removed the teeth from the sheriff. It just seemed I don't know all the interworkings still, but just knowing what went on in that regard was enough to really turn me away and make me think something crazy was going on. I know this much. It was really hard to say not wear a mask in a public building if you didn't want to wear a mask in a public building. The strength of these First Amendment audits has really come after COVID's, because during COVID's, everybody was perfectly willing to obey policies regardless of whether or not they were constitutional. Everybody was willing to enforce unconstitutional policies on the public under the name of public health. Well, you're going to maintain distance. You're going to wear your mask. You're going to do this. You're going to call and make an appointment. We're just going to fucking do everything online. We're going to telehealth everybody. And that's just the way it's going to be because public health order. That's what we said, because we have to protect everybody, and because it's better to protect everybody than to give one person all their rights. So we just suspend the rights in the name of public health. And that's why this New Mexico governor, whether it's one city, one county, or it's going to be across the state, I'm going to be real curious to hear how she gives up this power in 30 days. It was a 30-day order. I'm at least happy to hear it wasn't across the whole state. Why it took a state governor to come down on that county, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how this rolls over. How this finally.
Well, this is another one of those things that have changed since 9/11, 2001. Was all these executive orders. I mean, executive orders used to be written to change the curtains in the White House or get carpeting done, and those were what executive orders were used for. And then old Barry Soetoro came in and started writing all kinds of crazy executive orders way beyond his power reach. But people went along with it. So I've never heard of a governor writing an executive order like this before. Have you?
It does seem odd.
Yeah, even presidential executive orders didn't used to, like I said, they were for changing the drapes at the White House or something, not affecting the American people's rights. I mean, the second order is very clearly written, shall not be infringed, period. Can't write it any more plainly than that. This got me thinking about like Wyatt Earp and the OK Corral and all that stuff. They were doing this back then, supposedly. Disarming anybody who came into town. And look how that ended. With people having a gunfight in the middle of the road because they didn't want to give up their firearms. Now, at least the way the story goes, these weren't your normal, average, everyday citizens. You know, they were a big cowboy outlaw group, yada, yada, yada. But they didn't say only the cowboys have to be disarmed, you know, anything like that. Everybody has to be disarmed. And so when the cowboys say we're not disarming and everybody else is disarmed, who do you think has the upper hand in that situation? Same as today. When the criminals don't follow the law, but the ordinary citizen does, it puts the ordinary citizen at a disadvantage, especially when you go and announce it that every citizen is disarmed now by law. Then criminals from all over are going to be like, hey, let's go there. We can go snatch purses and rob Granny whenever we want now. Granny don't have a 38 in her purse. We don't even need a gun. I'm bigger than Granny. Yeah, it does more damage than it does help. And I mean, the statistics are there. Look at New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, LA, San Francisco, all these places with huge crime rates that are just skyrocketing. All are places that are very hard to get a concealed carry permit. You have to jump through loops and spend thousands of dollars and take training courses and all this other stuff just to be able to protect yourself out in public. Those places have the worst crime in the country.
Yeah, all those sanctuary cities are still crying and whining. But
Oh,
they're
that just cracks me
overwhelming
up.
our resources. It's your fault.
This would be the end of New York City when he was saying, this will be a sanctuary city until I am out of office. Less than a year later, he's talking about how it's going to be the end of New York City because they got all these people. What do you think it's like down there in Texas, in Arizona, New Mexico? What do you think they're going through? You asked for this. You said you wanted to be a sanctuary city. You wanted people from all over the world to come and have the opportunity to American dream, New York City, blah, 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 blah. Here you go. And now you're crying and complaining about it. Saying you're getting too many people. Well, you said you would be a sanctuary city. We didn't. Oh, yeah. That gets me a lot. The whole, yeah, the U.S. should be a sanctuary country, but not in our city, right? New York City, you know, when they make these comments, they're thinking we're so far from the border, it's not going to get all the way up here and cause too much of a ruckus. I don't think they were expecting governors from other states to be like, oh, you want the people here? And just start busing them and flying them to New York City. Here you go. What do you think about it, Walter? You've been quiet. Are we crazy?
I mean, yeah, you are, but that has nothing to do with the fact that, yeah, I mean, at this point, I just have to live with this reality bubble around me and the people I care about of, you know, sovereignty. That's all you can do, is live your life sovereign, regardless of their bullshit. That's the only way to do it. And to do that, I don't know. It's just the thing where I so remove myself from it at this point. You know, I used to do it since forever. Like, I never kept up crap just for that reason, because I knew it was all just division and whatever. But the main focus always of their fear tactics is to separate us and disarm us. I mean, that's their two objectives, the biggest two there are, you know, because once they do that, yeah, it's pretty much done deal. It's pretty much a done deal. But since, you know, I don't watch them all the time as Josh and Zach do, but we'll hop on a stream and they'll have one on and pop it on and I'll check it out, First Amendment stuff. And it's really a different world than I know, you know, as I told you guys, my whole breakdown with the respect for the law enforcement. If that happened today, my knowledge base and my rights knowledge, I guess, would have not let me be escorted out of that football game. So become self-educated about it. Just don't let their fear become part of the education. That's the tough part, because, man, they fill it all with fear. And we're about no fear here. Oops, I meant fear.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. They have that monopoly on violence. It's hard. But that's what bravery is. It's not a lack of fear. It's being able to act in the face of your fear.
In spite of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Girl, you better watch it. Sorry, my cat just scratched my finger while I was picking up something on the table. She decided she wanted it. And now she's gone, so you don't get to see her. Speaking of having no spear, I see the Iron Maiden herself lurking around there in the chat. Not lurking, she's full on hardcore in it. So if you missed last Friday somehow, and you've been wondering, who is that Liz, the Iron Maiden in chat? That crazy girl, what's she all about? Well, come hang out over there. Go back and watch it, I guess. Would be a better way to say that. And go get to know her like we did Friday. Thank you, Liz. That was awesome.
Yes, it was.
And just one of many. You know that, right? You're in like Flynn now.
It was a have no sphere of historic proportion. So on Fridays,
I'm close.
Go ahead.
Oops. You go right ahead.
I was just going to say Dixie likes to volunteer at the bunny house here close by, which is how we ended up getting bunnies, becoming bunny peoples. I mean, Fridays for me are a long day. 3 a.m. to 9 or 10 p.m. makes for a long day. The idea of getting off a have no sphere and running up to the bunny house to spend another 4 or 5 hours without sleep just seems a little bit undoable. I don't really go up there with her. I don't really spend a lot of time up there like she does. Not that she spends a whole lot of time, but I also know that I have a really hard time saying no to bunnies. So if I just don't see the bunnies, then I don't want the bunnies. And if I don't want the bunnies, I don't get the bunnies. So it just works out well that we don't have a plethora of bunnies here. Damn it, she needed to go up and get some wood pellets. That's what we use in the litter boxes. We had to go up to the bunny house because we get a discount up there. She wanted to go around and say hi to some buns. I was going with her. And she was talking to some of the volunteers up there while we're looking at buns, and I'm just walking around saying hi to buns. There's a little bunny there, so I poke my finger through and I'm rubbing her nose, just telling her hello, and she starts giving me kisses, starts grooming my finger and licking on my finger. And Dixie turns around and sees this tiny little black bunny grooming my finger. She's like, "Oh my God, that's Tilda." I said, "Yeah, that's what the sign says. It's Tilda." Yeah. Giving me kisses on my finger. She says, no, that's like, she says, well, I call her Tiny Tilda, full of rage. Because you can't like really reach into her little space there too much. She gets kind of possessive. You know, she's really cage possessive. She can get pretty angry. She likes to box people. Right. So any of the volunteers that have to change out the water or the toys or reach in there to do anything, she thumps and she grunts and she'll box your hands and gets all upset. So that's why she has that nickname of Tiny Tilda, full of rage. She's just this itty bitty little black bunny. So she turned around and saw her actually grooming my fingers. She's like, oh my God. So she managed to reach in there and just pull her out just to see what would happen, and handed her to me. And she just curled up like underneath my beard, tucked her nose in, tucked her face in, and kind of curled up and just chilled out and took some pets, nestled up underneath my facial hair. She was just completely amazed.
You have a new bunny at the house now?
Nope, we do not have a new bunny at the house. That being said, Harris is still dejected since his girlfriend got home, came back here and decided that she liked his pal better.
Oh, poor Harris.
Yeah, so Benny and Dolly are doing great. They're now in one cage. They're like bonded. They're doing wonderfully. No issues, nothing. Dixie just got them completely bonded and didn't have an issue, except now Harris, who we were getting the bond mate for, because Benny was doing fine bonding with us. He didn't necessarily need someone else. We didn't think. But since Dolly and Harris weren't necessarily hitting it off, Dixie just decided to throw Benny up there and see what would happen, and it was just crazy. So now they're bonded, and we have more room now. We're down to 2 pens. One bigger, one smaller, one for 2 and one for 1 bunny. But Harris is still going to need somebody because he still seems just a little sad, a little dejected.
Be right back, okay? Be right back.
So we do have room for a 4th, and really kind of a need, because Harris will, I think, needs somebody to be with. But again, it's so hard for arranged marriages to work out successfully. Don't want to just pick a bond mate for a bunny. You want them to have some sort of say in it. Still, I'd be pretty pleased if Tilda decided she liked Harris.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you stick 2 bunnies that don't like each other in a cage, bad things can happen, right?
Well, it's a bloody fight to the death.
Yeah.
Can be.
Yeah. It's not something that you
necessarily.
want to just, here, we're going to go out now. You guys get to know each other.
Yeah. Not like you do with a couple of cats, maybe, where you put them in a closet together and close the door and let them sort it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, rabbits can and will kill another bun. There's a pretty vicious video out there of a rabbit vengefully going after a snake. The snake had, I guess, gotten some of its little bunnies and was trying to get away, and that rabbit was fucking it up. Pardon my language.
Yeah, it was. That was a big snake, too. That wasn't like your little gardener snake.
Yeah, that was like at least a 6-footer, what I remember.
That bunny was not defending itself. It was on the attack. Like, the snake was running from it, and the bunny kept running after it. Yeah, that blew my mind. Well, I would like to say that we had an awesome Have No Sphere Friday, if you might have missed it. Liz, the Iron Maiden, came on, and she did amazing. I thought we were going to have to, like a lot of guests, especially when they're nervous when they come on, you have to ask them a lot of questions to get them to talk. But Liz seemed like she'd been doing this for years. We'd ask a question and she would give a nice, detailed, long, thought out answer, and it was just perfect. Like she'd been doing this forever. Well, thank you so much, Liz, for coming on Have No Sphere and getting over your fear of public speaking. And yeah, you did amazing. Please come back and join us again soon. We could do a monthly show with Liz. But yeah, I thought I had a lot of fun Friday night for sure.
Yeah, me too.
No, Liz, we didn't have to step on each other because you were just stealing the show. We didn't have to walk you through anything or kind of coax you to speak up more. You just took it and ran with it. I was impressed.
He knows our rhythms pretty well.
She wishes she could change some of her answers, though.
I heard that.
We all do. Whenever you go back and listen to yourself speaking, you're like, oh, I should have said this. I should have said that. That's why I don't even do it anymore. I haven't listened to myself talk online in years. I used to listen to every one of them all the way back through just to see how I did. Now it's like, hey, it's over. It's done. Can't change it now.
Yep.
I'm not SpaceX.
I try to make it a point that if ever I should need to go back and defend something that I said, I can. I don't want to say something that's completely indefensible.
Yeah.
And as long as that doesn't happen, I'm generally pretty okay. Yeah, there's no possible way I could go back and listen to everything. I mean, we're talking, that's thousands of hours.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody gonna go back and listen to thousands of hours.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You guys can't do that when I'm in the middle of a hit. Usually,
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Oof. Oh, that one gave me the sweats breaking out.
That's the good stuff. Get them bud sweats going. I had pulled this story up for probably Monday and Wednesday and never got to it. And then Friday I said, I got to talk about this today because time is quickly running out. Well, guess what? We had an awesome show Friday. Didn't ever get to this. Currently, there is a comet in our sky that you can, I would hope at this point, see with, at best you would need binoculars, but it should be naked eye. Problem is, the story is published from September 6th, and at that point we had about a week left to see this comet because it's a very brief time. It's going to be out of our system, let's see, 13th, 14th, something like that here. It's on the story, but I've already scrolled down to find the details of where. It was discovered by a Japanese amateur astronomer, Hideo Nishimura. He discovered it August 12th. Hello. Near the Zeta Genorium in Gemini the Twins, according to this page, blah, 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 blah. It is a magnitude 10.4, closing in on the sun at a distance of 1 astronomical unit. It will perihelion on the 17th. Okay, so that's...
Sorry, Walter.
Go ahead. Oh, no.
It's weird that we discover it at 1 AU. Usually it's discovered out beyond Saturn or Jupiter. That's when they find. I can't recall a comet being found so late in its travel through our solar system. And this isn't this is a small one. I mean, this is visible. But yeah, that kind of threw me. Makes me realize that they really have no clue what's going on up there.
No, they don't. The problem with seeing this one is what time of day and things. Because of where it's located in the sky, it's best seen at dawn, about 30 or 45 minutes before the sun will be coming up, making it impossible to see. So you have a brief window in this brief time to see this comet Nishimura. It's visible in the pre-dawn skies for the northern hemisphere observers. It rises later each morning as it tracks quickly through the stars of Leo. on September 7th, it rose about 4:20 a.m. Well, you get it. By Sunday, which was yesterday, it would rise about 5 a.m. So it'll be a little later than 5 a.m. this morning, which is coming up for me like right now. I may walk out and see if I can look at it here in a minute since we only have a few days left. Let's see. Basically, it's just
Pretty
going
close to
all
the
over
horizon
place.
as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll have to have a nice horizon shot.
Yeah, not here.
It'll tracks east, so it'll stay low. It won't be rising into the sky. You know, as time passes, it'll kind of stay along that low thing. So if you have a way to see it between now and where's the date they had actually on here? The 15th is pretty much the last day that it'll be visible. So a couple, 3 or 4 days left. Go check that out. Definitely, they say it is possible to see it through naked eye visibility, but it won't be as nice to see as if you have binoculars or perhaps a telescope. Telescoping it is a bit, you'd have to have a pretty good scope that you can keep the equilateral going so you could track it and not lose it. Anyway, it will leave our solar system never to return. So Halley's Comet comes back every 80 years, but this one just popped in to say hello and cruising back
Maybe
out.
like 400 and something years or something like that. Yeah, don't worry, it'll be back in 400 something years if it doesn't fizzle up. How many comets don't fizzle up when they get near to the sun? Is it only Halley's? It seems like every comet that they've said over the last 20 years, oh, it's going to come and it's going to rival the sun during the day. I've heard that like 2 or 3 times now. I know Elenin was supposed to be visible during the day and it was going to look like a second sun, they said. And it was hard to see without visual optics at night. So yeah, every time they come up with what it's going to look like, what to expect, they're wrong. Every single time. Oh, this one's going to make it and it's going to slingshot around the sun and it's going to be even brighter on its way out. And then, oh, yep, it fizzled in the sun. Comet's gone. It's almost like these things are maybe sent in to give the sun energy. I don't know. What's the thing with comets and solar maximas? Is there a correlation there?
I'm not sure. I was just sharing a little sky picture for those who might be able to go check it out. This would be your constellations to look for. Leo there. Probably Regulus or, yeah. I mean, if you don't know your sky chart, it's easy to do with the phone. Just go find an app. I know there's one out there that I used and kept updating until it became unusable. So I'm not sure now which one to use.
I always used Google Sky. It was pretty good at that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's a few of them out there now. But yeah, Google Sky, that's the one when I was studying the sun and the moon back in the day, I used a lot. Am I clipping in and out?
No, sir.
I don't think so. Well, the high strangeness, you clipping in and out is not amongst them.
Okay, good. So,
yeah, shout out to Logan Cook real quick. You need to expect a skull or a pumpkin comet coming in the next month or so. It is that time of year.
Let's make them do something else. How about a witches something?
I think they've done that before too.
The witch's cauldron. Let's not give them too many ideas. We're taking away NASA's jobs. So everybody has heard of India's moon rover, right? And the awesome footage they had of it landing and everything. So their Chandrayaan-3 robotic moon explorers don't have heaters. You would think maybe, since it's going to get to what, like, let's see, what is it? Negative 424 Fahrenheit, negative 253 Celsius. That it might, you might want to put something to keep, the circuit boards from, I mean, negative 424, wouldn't stuff start cracking and, I mean, negative 10, my batteries don't work. Negative 10, truck won't start. Whoa, 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 whoa. And then they don't say how hot it gets either. But yeah, they don't have any heaters, and they're not sure if it's going to turn on because it's in the shadow of the moon right now, the shadow part. And they're not certain that it's going to turn back. How much you want to bet that it turns on and works perfect? No problem.
Or it doesn't turn on at all.
Is that why it only cost them $74 million?
Uh-huh. That's why it's not going to turn back on. But that was a successful time, and if we just had a little more money, then by God, we could definitely do more. See? It sucks it got stuck over there. But double our budget, see what we can do. Triple it. Imagine.
Okay, so they're starting off small and just working their way up.
There you go.
Okay. Because I know the United States kind of got in trouble after that. I mean, they did it for 74 million, 79 million, something like that. And our rocket cost more than that. Now they're saying the SLS is too expensive. They're going to have to come up with something new. Like, really? Why don't you go buy a rocket from India? Yeah, it's just a joke. It is a joke. They're saying whales stop singing and rock lobsters lose their balance. How seismic surveys can harm marine life. I've heard that before too. When the Navy goes out and tests their super powerful sonars and stuff like that, you'll see a lot of dolphins and marine life, whales and stuff, beach themselves. It's not like one did it on accident, but you'll see lots of animals beaching themselves to get away from that sonic blast that's being perpetrated throughout the water. What else? They want to clean the Statue of Liberty to reveal its true color. So isn't the statue, what is it made out of? When it was first built, it wasn't green. Chemistry changed it. I know copper turns green.
I was going to say, I think it's mostly copper, and that's why it's green like that.
Wonder what it looked like when it was first put up.
There's probably enough neuroses in New York. You could get all the OCDs just to come and polish it.
Rather a magnificent copper color. I have never seen it anything but green. I mean, it was built in 1885, so that gives, physics some time to do what it does. Wow. So it was a copper color, which reacted with oxygen in the air. Copper gave up electron to oxygen, leading to the mineral cuprite, which is a pinkish red color. So at one time, the Statue of Liberty was pinkish red. Where are all the pictures of this?
What I was thinking. How come I've never heard about that?
I mean, 1935, we had color motion pictures.
And just think of all the folks coming in on the boats, looking at that Statue of Liberty as they were coming into New York, into Ellis Island.
And then it says, water in the atmosphere when mixed with sulfur turns to sulfuric acid. When this was mixed with copper oxides in the statue, it began to turn its distinctive green color. How did sulfur get into the atmospheric rain?
And why does it happen to my pennies, if that's the case? If it takes salt water. Hold on, let me get that up. If I can show people. There, it finally worked. You would think immigrants coming in on the boat talking about the beautiful red Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
It's so pink. I would have never thought it would be pink Statue of Liberty. Why is it so red?
I'm not getting red or pink. Everything I'm seeing is the original color is this kind of coppery color.
Probably a sepia tone.
I'm
Bullshit.
still not seeing an original photograph of color, though. That's what I was looking for.
I have never heard of it being anything but green.
No, I knew it had turned green in the weather. I just didn't know, offhand what the original color was. So are these real pictures? Or are these?
And I've never heard of it being like a pink color.
See, I don't know how real this really is.
Doesn't look very.
They all claim it's a photo from 1886, apparently. I keep seeing it other places repeated and over and over. Wait, what is this? I don't know. You see what I see.
And that's fine. That makes, okay. I can totally dig that. That's what it looked like originally. That's the copper color. I'll give you that. Fine. And now it's a green color. Okay, cool. It oxidized. I'll give you that. But if you're telling me that the transitory color between the copper and the green is red, why aren't there a shit ton of pictures of the red Statue of Liberty? We got pictures of the copper and we got plenty of pictures of the green. We should have a shit ton of pictures of red. It should have been common knowledge.
No. Okay. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, and I can't believe I've never heard of that. I mean, you think in your history books, when you're doing Ellis Island and all that stuff, and all the people coming to this country and seeing the Statue of Liberty, I mean, it would have been a paragraph. You could have said, and the statue has changed colors over the years through the chemical, blah, 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 blah. It started off a copper color, then turned pink, and now then turned to its green color that you see today. Something like that. Because it's a pretty big landmark in U.S. history, right? I mean, Statue of Liberty. Not many Americans have not heard of the Statue of Liberty. I don't know, though. Nowadays, I hope a lot of these guy who asks questions on the street to people, I hope it takes him hours and hours and hours to make his little 1-minute videos, finding these people that are just clueless to the world around them. But he finds a lot of them. And they don't know things like, what country was the Queen of England from? Or what country is the Panama Canal in? Or what countries surround the United States? I mean, these are things you should be able to ask a 5th grader, and they should be able to tell you no problem. some of these adults don't know what a country is. They give answers like the Bronx, Manhattan. It's scary to think that just people that are so out of touch with, I don't know, the history. If you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it, right? How are these people? I don't know.
I guess I'm a little older, and I just remember a lot more about this, you know, and like I lived and remember the whole like cleaning of it or the fixing of it or whatever when they had all the
During Remo Williams?
Yeah, exactly. And then there was a movie or two that kind of went into it. Hell, even a cartoon, Bible, American Tail.
Bible Goes West? Oh,
Yeah,
American Tail.
no, an American Tail, the first one. Got into the whole, like, how they got to America and how they were, like, you know, I mean, that's just like this whole Mandela effect thing. To me, it never was anywhere but where it is now. Now, the Starport part, I didn't know. But I knew Ellis was where you came in, and there was the statue over there on your way back, kind of thing.
That's what
I saw it coming in, but you didn't go to it to get here. That was never, ever a thing I thought, ever. So for me, that's not a Mandela. That's just our school system sucking ass. Anyway, go, Josh.
That's what I was going to say. The immigrants wouldn't come over on their ship from whatever port of call they came from. And on their way to move to America, they would pull up to the Statue of Liberty and get processed into America. Here's your name. Here's welcome to America. You guys are going to be citizens one day. That was never done at the Statue of Liberty on Liberty Island. That was always done on Ellis Island. And on your way to Ellis Island, you'd run over to the side of the ship and look out. And there in the harbor, in the bay, would be Liberty Island with the Statue of Liberty on it. And you'd see the Statue of Liberty on your way to Ellis Island. Yeah, I don't know how that ever got to be a thing where people thought that the immigrants were being processed at the Statue of Liberty. It seems weird to me. Either of you fellas find any music? I got a couple things, but
I mean, I always can find music. Are you ready for a break, sir? You need to go.
Yeah, it is about that time. We're already halfway through.
Righto.
10 after 5.
How long a break you need? Because I'm old school. You need a bathroom song, or you need a out the back door for a bong hit song? What you need?
Usually 3 minutes will do me, but
if you need to go get a shower, and we can go play Alice's Restaurant, something like that.
Right?
Nope, I got my shower beforehand.
Got a 12-minute song right here. What you want?
I woke
I'm
up.
kidding.
My brain woke me up 15 minutes early so I could get in the shower. I was
Me
up at
too.
2:45.
I don't know. I was up. It was like 4:30 in the morning. I was wide awake, looking at my clock, like, "What's going on today?" Oh yeah, Ironworx.
Oh man, I just scrolled by it and now I can't find it. Oh, how do I get this in the order I want it in? I still haven't done that right. All right, here we go.
It just says, "Please play something happy."
Wait,
That
you
one
broke
song-
up because I had music busted in my ear. Please play who?
Something happened.
Something happy.
Oh Lord. I mean, music always makes me happy.
That Emerson, Lake and Palmer song. I'm not sure the name, but it's "What a Lucky Man." What a lucky man he was. I love that song until the end. Whoa. That's one of those songs that always gets me. Right at the end, I remember the first time I heard it, because I wasn't paying what a lucky man he was, as like in he's not a lucky man anymore. It didn't hit me until they just say, and he laid down, he died. I was just like, what? Yeah.
This is an ELP, but this is their cousin, and it's a very happy song. Everybody ready? Oh, wait, how to present it, Donna. Sound, computer sound. Mute me up.
You can fool yourself. You can cheat until you're blind. You can cut your heart. It can happen. You can mend the wires. You can beat the soul apart. You reach. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to everyone eventually. It's a constant fight, a constant fight. You pushing the needle to the red. Who knows who's right? No substitute, you're born, you're dead. Created out of fantasy. Our destination, go home. Look up. Look down. Look out. Look around. Look up. Look down. There's a crazy world outside. We're not allowed to lose our pride. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to everyone eventually. As you happen to say, it can happen today. As it happens in every way. This word I like. We architects of life. A song, a sigh. Developing words that linger. Fields of green through open eyes. Is for us to see. Look out. Look down. Look out. Look around. So look up. Look down. There's a crazy world outside. We're gonna have to lose our pride. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to everyone eventually. As you happen to say, it can happen today. As it happens in every way. As you happen to see, it will happen to be. Nothing happens to nowhere at all.
from 1982 off their 90215 album. That's Yes with It Can't Happen.
Walton the Peanut Gallery coming at you this morning. Hey!
I only had a woo to blow.
I don't think I've ever heard that one before, Walter.
Oh man, that's good stuff there. That album is one of those go-to albums for me. Like I can put it in anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter. I love every song on that album. That's the album that had Honorable Lonely Heart. Is probably the biggest hit that it had, but it also had this one. It had Changes. Was the other one? There was one more.
Changes.
No, that was Bowie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Bowie. I'll play Changes one break. You'll hear it. It's one I love too. I've got it in my list of stuff. Handy stuff.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. If you hadn't said ELP, it wouldn't even have come into my head. So, because they were definitely in that same progressive area that Emerson, Lake and Palmer lived in. I believe there may even have been a member crossover or two at some point in later supergroups. Maybe there were some members from both bands in, what was that band? When the Heart Rules the Mind. GTR. Oh, I bet that's where it was. Man, that's another great group. I got to find their songs and get those ready to play.
I know. I imagine how many great songs that we never got to hear because artists wouldn't sell their soul. You know, you hear about people like that one guy. I forget his name. Rich men north of Richmond turning down $8 million contract. Stuff like that. I mean, did that happen back in the day where there's some amazing musical groups that knew what the musical industry was all about and just said, nah, I don't want anything to do with that? Just imagine how many amazing songs that were never heard on the radio. Well, when I get into a band and I really start to love a band, I notice the songs I hear on the radio, and it's not just because I hear them so much, but those are the songs I like the least on the album.
That's always my thing, man. And I used to think it was because it was the song I'd heard the most, so I was tired of it. But even as the internet took over musical things, and it became a thing where like bands with themselves start putting out songs on YouTube. Damn it. Sorry. YouTube. And I mean, even like my band, Alter Bridge, for months leading up to their most recent album, they put out like a video every 2 or 3 weeks, it felt like. And I purposefully didn't listen to those videos over and over, because when the album finally got here, I didn't want to be tired of those songs. It didn't matter. I still preferred the songs that were deep cuts over the ones that had been pushed onto the radio or onto YouTube or whatever. I don't know. There's just something about that push for commonality into music that you feel, or I do anyway. You know, when a band I love does it on purpose, you can feel it. You can feel it, you know.
And you can
as
tell,
much as I was excited about
radio. Go ahead.
I was saying that as much as I was excited about the new Extreme album, that, you know, we had like 4 songs, something like that come out beforehand. There are deep cuts on it that I love, but there are also songs on it that haven't come out yet that are just so written for the radio. You can feel it. And they had albums, I mean, they had songs like that on all their albums. That was one of the reasons they were never one of my top 5 bands. He's one of my top 5 guitarists. They weren't one of my top 5 bands because they always, I could feel the radio push and, you know, at least half their music, if not a bit more sometimes on an album. So there's a lot of that on the new album. Anyway, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just saying, it seems like a lot of the songs that are made to play on the radio are different than all the other songs on the album almost. And it's not so much like a different rhythm or a different, like you were saying, the band plays different when they're playing those songs, more like they're personal to the band. Where these songs that are on the radio, it's almost like they're given, or they're really altered a lot from the original version. You know how music produces things. And I just think that the band, you know, once you sign your name on the dotted line, you're going to play the song how the producer tells you to play it, or you're not going to get produced. But yeah, a lot of the songs that you don't hear on the radio, I mean, Pearl Jam was one of my go-to bands. And their greatest song, in my opinion, has never been played on the radio, except for maybe up near Seattle where they play all kinds of Pearl Jam stuff. But it's called Low Light. It's off Yield. And nobody's ever heard of this song. And it is the best Pearl Jam song, I think. They have all these different instruments playing, chimes, all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's very beautiful, melodic, and it goes perfect with Eddie's voice and everything. And you'll never hear it on the radio. Yeah, a lot of songs are like, a lot of albums are like that. Where you'll hear this one song, it's like, man, that one should have been on the radio. They really messed up there. And then you go to another album, well, wow, this one's better than that one. Yeah, it's just a nasty industry, I think. Entertainment. Not so much just music or anything like, just entertainment in general. The people, the administrative side of it all ruins art. What was your go-to, Josh? What was that album that would make you feel, you know, you could just get happy?
Happy album. It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know that any of mine were necessarily happy go-tos. Like most of mine were like country depressives.
I had stuff for different thing, like or for like if I was getting ready to go do something where I wanted to be pumped up, I'd play L.A. Woman. Just because it starts off, you know, at a one beat and then it slows down a lot. And then at the end, it really picks up and just gets faster and faster and faster. So when I would go play basketball, I'd play that song on the way to playing basketball, and it's a long song. I'd always be sitting there in the parking lot, finishing the song. It was perfect. All pumped up and ready to go, get the blood flowing just a little bit. But yeah, when I wanted to go happy, I'd always play like What a Wonderful World mixed with Somewhere Over the Rainbow by that Hawaiian guy. I forget his name. He passed away. But he played on the ukulele.
I know who you're
That
talking
always made me happy. Always. That's one of my go-tos. Or even just Louis Armstrong doing What a Wonderful World. I always feel better when that song's over. Eat a peach, says Logan Cook. Macho Man. The Violent Femmes. Deep is my favorite Pearl Jam song. Oh, A lot of good songs coming up in chat. Eat a Peach, that was a great album. The Allman Brothers were pretty awesome. And a lot of weird stuff happened around that band. I forget who it was first. Was it Dwayne who died in a motorcycle accident? Or was it Greg? I forget. And then 10 years to the day, the drummer, I think, died on the same street within a quarter mile. That's a weird one. Jane's Addiction, that's a good one. First album. That's it. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that name right. Israel Kamakawiwo Ole. And then Stefan, who did work for us, who wrote our song. Liz says she plays Stefan's music for this show. She wants to decompress.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
We got about a half hour left. What would you guys like to chat about? Oh, is the bass player, says Alexander Lightwater, not the drummer. Yeah, I knew it was somebody in there. I wasn't 100%. Okay, so did you guys hear what's going on with
What? The first Jane's Addiction album. I hear you, brother. Sorry, I'm playing catch up too in chat, going back, seeing everybody's stuff. I guess it would be, I mean, my muse and music go from one thing to another. Sometimes I'll grab a soundtrack, sometimes I'll grab something really heavy, sometimes I'll grab something really old. I used to always put on whatever, I don't even know the name of the actual album. It's the album that has Colleague Occupants and Anus from Uranus, Klaatu. That band from the 70s, that was always a good go-to. It had a lot of good upbeat craziness to it. So, but yeah, definitely you guys have a variety of tastes going here in chat. It's pretty amazing.
So have you guys seen what's going on with the BRICS? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, new world currency that they're putting out.
I have not.
Did we talk about this Friday?
I think a little bit.
We did, but unless something new's happening, I don't know.
But yeah, now they're starting to realize Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates and all these countries that are signing on. Who else was it? Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and then Argentina is the only non-oil producing country. So 5 out of 6. And these are millions of barrels across the plain. Millions of barrels of oil come out of these countries. And they've decided to go to BRICS as an alternate to the US dollar. Now, if you don't know, we don't have precious metals and things like that backing up our dollar. We just don't. You know, we were supposed to. That's how this, the Treasury Department was set up. But now everything's backed on oil. The US dollar is. They call it the petrodollar. Now, what happens and everybody worldwide, if you wanted to buy oil, this and that, well, everybody that, doesn't get sanctioned by us and things like that, you bought and sold your oil in the US dollar, which keeps our money valuable and worth something. But because our government has given the Federal Reserve free reign to just fire up the press every day and print billions of dollars every month, other countries are like, hey, you're giving us nothing. You're buying oil from us with fake monopoly money, a fiat currency that's getting worth less and less and less since 2008, mind you, when you started this quantitative easing, or 2012 maybe. That was supposed to go on for like 4 months, 6 months, and it's been going on for over a decade. Just a printing of unfathomable amounts of money every month, not given to the U.S. citizens. It's not like they haven't come up to our door and been like, here's your $100,000 for all the money we've been printing to help you along to keep up with all the inflation and everything because it's our fault. No. So other countries are getting wise and they're being like, we don't want your fiat currency monopoly money anymore. We're going to start our own currency where you don't have control over it and just get to, buy our products with stuff that you just make out of thin air. So yeah, this is not good for the United States. This whole idea of going to a different currency to buy oil and sell oil, the United States needs to be very afraid of this because we are set up to rely upon this. When Russia's ruble collapsed in the 80s, I remember a guy telling a story. He had 25,000 rubles in the bank. He was doing well. Could have went and bought, a fancy sports car with that. And in one day, he woke up the next morning and it wasn't enough money to buy a loaf of bread. That's what I'm worried about happening here. And if they don't pull their heads out of their asses and start, trying to fix this thing, and yeah, I could see it getting, we don't have to worry about them coming and taking our guns, the government. You're going to have to start worrying about the mob, the giant mobs roaming around just eating everything that they can because they don't know how to get food for themselves. They can't go out in the woods and get it themselves. That's what scares me. I don't have a deep underground military base to go run to when the shit hits the fan.
Right.
So yeah, this needs to be a lot more. I mean, we're worried more about Hunter Biden's laptop and coke in the White House right now. The average American person. Or a fear of the orange man coming back, right? They're more scared of that than the dollar collapsing, which is fundamentally being set up right in front of our eyes. The collapse of the dollar. So best to have a bug out bag, be prepared. Hopefully you'll never have to use it. I've had mine since 2012, never had to use it once. But it's there. I have water filtration, I have ways to find food, ways to make fires, first aid. They say 3 weeks. If you can survive the first 3 weeks after a collapse, your chances of survival go up like 90%.
Because so many of the other people will not. And then you can scavenge off the leftovers.
Yeah. After 3 days, there is no food at the stores to buy. You can forget about trying to find food there. And then mobs start forming, going house to house, and, crazy things happen when the food is not at the stores. After 4 days of not eating, people change. Animal instincts start taking over. Survival of the fittest comes back around again. Be able to go out into the woods for just 3 weeks. Learn a few plants. It may not be fun. You may get real hungry, but you can survive. Learn how to live out there for just a few weeks. It's a good survival skill to have. there was a lot of people up in Indiana that were all about this, and they would wait till it got to negative 20 at night, and they'd go out and set up tents in that, you know, just to know that they can do it and to see how hard it is and how to better be prepared if that comes about. These weren't like 20-year-olds. These were people in their late 50s that were doing this stuff. So you're never too old to learn some new tricks. And if this keeps progressing, I'm kind of, yeah, this is the kind of stuff that really worries me. It's not so much what the government's going to do to me. It's what my neighbors are going to do to me when the food runs out, if the food runs out. All right, sorry for being so doom and gloom there, but yeah, this is serious. If BRICS does do away with the petrodollar, the United States is in trouble. All right, rant over. Sorry about that, everybody.
No, you're good. It needs to be discussed, without a doubt. Our buddy Lucas in chat saying, get your silver in hand. Yes, sir. I agree. That being said, I dropped the link a couple of shows ago. Let me go find it again. Gentleman I met, Mario. 1 second here. Where it is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Liz, for sure. Humanity is good for the most part, you know? But it's when you get, it only takes that, when you get that mob mentality going and you get a large group of people and one of them yells, get them, or attack, that's all it takes a lot of the time. That's all that it takes. But no, yeah, no, people will pull together. That's what happens. People pull together and they protect their property, their communities. When the mob of people with pitchforks and torches comes up upon, you know, a group that's well defended and has firearms, the mob moves on. They'll go to the next group of people.
Absolutely. So in that respect of the bartering idea, our buddy Mario here has come up with these flat earth dimes. Essentially, they are 1/10 silver. They are very handy for pocket carry. They are, again, 1/10 ounce of 0.999 silver. It's got a flat earth map on one side, and I believe his time exchange logo that he has come up with on the other. He also designed the map. We're going to have Mario on kind of once we get our show back to at least where it was before standard. I've mentioned that we would have him on, and that when we have him on, we'll try to do some type of maybe crossover promotional thing. That being said, let Mario know when you go there to the site. Let him know you heard about it from me on Iron Realm, Ironworx, wherever, and I don't know, he may hook you up with a deal. He's actually got it set up where the more you buy, the less you pay kind of thing. I know already. But just mention to him that you heard it here. He may be able to give you a better Walt deal in there. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to get back to him. I've sent a few messages back and forth with him. We just never have gotten to that point yet because we haven't got a date set for him yet. Because I definitely, you know, he said during the show we'll definitely do some type of promotion. So, that being said, remind him you heard it here. And you never know what might happen. I've got mine right here. I just dropped it. Well, damn it. It rolls easily, apparently.
Yeah, I like my silver ounces. I walk around with 2 silver ounces in my pocket whenever I leave the house. I always have 2 ounces of silver in my pocket, just in case.
You don't want to overpay with them ounces, though. That's why you need that 1/10 of an ounce.
Yeah, I know it.
Walter, I have to ask, did you write a review?
I did.
I love you. All right. If you guys go over to the Etsy store to buy one of these coins and you go to leave a review, 2 reviews are from members of Iron Realm Media, and I think there's 9 others. Or 7 others. I think there's like 9 or 10 reviews just on this coin alone. See if you can pick out the 2 from Iron Realm Media. That cracks me up. Do you have a link
that's pretty
for
great.
his store?
Yeah, I did. It's that eBay link there in chat. I'll drop it again here in a second.
I just saw green flowers in chat asking about it. Wasn't sure if it was.
I'll
in there.
do it again.
Like I wrote mine, then I went back. I'm like, I know Walter bought one. I'm surely he would have left one. This has got to be a Walter review. Like this has got to be a Walter review. But I'm reading mine, I'm reading yours, and I'm reading everybody else's. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you can pick them out pretty easy.
Well, we're coming up on it, I guess. We still got about 17.
We damn sure, even without breaks, this thing flies by fast. Damn it. Interesting, Laura in chat talking about some gram coins that she has access to. Drop a link. I'd definitely like to look at those.
Yeah, I've got some little 1 gram squares. Silver 1 gram tabs almost.
Was it you that got the
sheet of tabs?
chocolate bar?
Yeah.
I thought it was. I saw that go by in an old email recently when they were offering it. It was like, didn't Josh get that?
I did. Seems like I even got it for. No, I think I got several different silver pieces that I think I had originally intended on hooking up to an old laptop battery and doing some colloidal silver. I think is why I got most of that silver, especially the 1 gram tabs. They fit in the alligator clips pretty easily.
Right.
What is the name of the company who's making those? I couldn't
Wait,
find
which
it on
one?
the eBay. The
It's that
110.
time. Yeah, it's that time. Wow, I'm getting really bad feedback suddenly. What did I do? Oh, one second. He hit my button. Time. Damn it. River. Come on, stop. River Pass Time Exchange. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, those are cool. Very, very cool. Oh man,
I'm hearing beeping somewhere. Y'all hearing beep? Oh, I know what that is. Hang on.
Did you hear about the new bullet train?
Did not.
They say it set a new record, and here's one of those. It could travel fast as an airplane. 281 miles per hour. That is pretty
Does
quick.
that come with a spatula?
Fastest train in the world now. But, I mean, is that really close to the 545 mile an hour? Okay, yeah, they're saying once fully developed and optimized, the engineers behind this incredible feat believe, there's one of those words again, the maglev could soar up to speeds of 621 miles per hour. I just don't think that'd be a good idea. I mean, can the human body go that fast and be a... You have to be going a pretty long distance because you can't accelerate ridiculous speeds up to that. You'd have to slowly get up to that speed. I wonder if they strap you into this.
Liz
train.
is asking about the train from the Iron Republic. Wasn't it a fast train like that? I can't remember. It's been a while since I read that PDF. That's something else I found recently is that folder that has all of that golden goodies in it, like that and Worlds Beyond the Pole and stuff. I need to figure out a way to get that accessible again. If only we had a website.
It's on my list. Like I've literally...
We'll do it. We'll do it.
We've got Bluehost.
I went
We've
to
got
the
GoDaddy.
emails trying to get into things again, and I'm apparently not going to the even a right thing. So we'll discuss all this off the air. Probably be better.
Did you hear about the earthquake in Morocco?
Yeah, I did. I had a story pulled up right as I was going to bed, and then something cat happened, and I got crazily distracted cleaning up a mess and never sent it. But yeah, that was pretty intense.
6.8 magnitude, they're saying. Gee.
Come again?
6.8 magnitude?
Or
That's a big one. Yeah, they're not really covering a whole lot about it. Over 2,100 people already. Wow. Well, there's a very large group of people there, I'm sure, that could use some prayers there. Yeah, and they've had big earthquakes before too, haven't they?
Seems like that does sound right. Yeah.
Poor people.
Yeah, so definitely send your energy as much as you can that way. I know we're always asking you for prayers and energy, but we definitely have a nice collective that has demonstrated pretty certainly the unwieldiness of the power we have in our hands and how they can't stop it. So send it their way. Help them out. I'm sidetracked trying to play catch up on everybody that has hopped in chat since last I was there. Thank you guys for hanging out and being here and for all the support. I haven't gone back to our emails since I looked, probably on Friday or Saturday. When we talked about that? Was that Friday? Yeah. But definitely you guys are blowing my mind and we can't thank you enough. We had our buddy Austin from the Melodome channel over here talking about getting the show set up with a trivia thing going between Josh and I this time. So that also will also include some very specific Ironworx trivia questions for you people there in chat to wrap your little heads around and see, have you been paying attention? Or are we truly the background noise to your life? But yeah, dang it, man, it's been amazing what you guys are doing already. It's mind-blowing. I even saw a super chat from Liz go by that I completely forgot about until right this second. Thank you, Liz. You didn't have to pay us to be on the show. We would pay you if we could, for damn sure.
That said, I was looking through this little bag of stuff that came with my Cricut. One of the great things about eBay is they'll send it to you as like a whole lot of stuff. Somebody just like, all right, I'm done. Here's all the shit that I had. You can have it now. And I actually do have a roll of some heat transfer vinyl.
Cool.
So yeah, all I've got's my fucking handy dandy clothes iron, but it's still possible. You can still get it done with the clothes iron without having to pay for a big old t-shirt heat press. I might knock out.
Thank you, Brian. Oh, sorry. I just saw Brian heading to work. Thank you, brother.
Yes, thank you very much, Brian. Matter of fact, I'm going to get a list together of all the people that have donated thus far, and we'll just start playing a
Absolutely.
thank you list. I'm still
Laura
amazed.
said get some umbrellas. Anyway, sorry.
So the mathematicians have found 12,000 solutions for the fiendish three-body problem.
They did what now?
Record number.
There was one?
Yeah. Yeah, they said that all of a sudden, even though before they never had one solution, now all of a sudden they've come up with 12,000 solutions.
But
you just... No?
do they work though? I mean, creating a solution to a problem doesn't necessarily solve the problem. I mean, your solution may
and
not.
it says to continue reading.
Yeah, there you go. Paywall.
And they're saying in 2017, researchers found 1,223 new, and then it ends there.
David, is your
So-
back hurt? Oh, is it hurt?
So it's just for a bunch of suckers.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously in 2017, if they would have heard about this, or if they would have figured it out, we would have heard about it. We've been asking this question since before 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is just, it's from New Scientist. This is a new paper. I've never seen this before. Yeah, nonsense.
Was the AI involved?
Likely.
Yeah, most likely. None of them actually really work, but we can pretend. It just puts dark matter in all the right places. 12,000 different ways. Oh, now they're starting to. Oh, this lady sitting here with the look on her face like she's thinking real hard and her hand on her chin. Electric cars have a road trip problem, slow and unreliable charging. You guys are just now thinking about that? Maybe that's something you do before you start making your electric car?
Well, we never bothered to put much thought into the three-body problem with planets or the road trip problem with electric vehicles. I mean, we just got to build it, right? You don't got to figure out what the hell you're going to do with it afterwards. If you actually want to drive the fucker, that's up to you. But we'll make you an electric vehicle. You just can't go very far. Or very fast for very long. I mean, given that muscle contractions and extensions are all based on electrical impulses, technically didn't the Flintstones have an electric car?
Oh, electric, baby. I guess President Biden wrapped up a press question in a very candid way, rambling for a little bit, and then he just said, I'm going to go to bed. Walked away.
Well, you know, when it's nap time, it's nap time.
Yeah. Yeah, people are talking about this guy running again. No, come on.
At least he bothered to announce it and then leave and not just nod out right there.
Yeah.
Right.
What was that? The G20 summit or whatever that was, and he's sitting there sleeping.
There's been a couple different times. I think he made a trip to Israel too and fell asleep there someplace. I think there's been a couple different times.
It's hard work snipping on kids. You guys leave him alone.
We've only got a couple minutes. We had talked Friday about this whole thing with Oprah and The Rock. Apparently, it was a whole pledging situation. That while it was maybe $5 million each for a total of $10 million, once all this shit started coming out, the people that actually run the foundation said, well, we haven't seen any money from Oprah or The Rock. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Then Oprah's like, oh, well, it was a pledge. Yeah, we didn't actually get it. Then they took the video down. It's been a whole fucking thing with her wanting to get people off of her land and I guess expand her reach. And it's a fucking land grab. It's the people in Hawaii are pissed. And there's some crazy stuff going on out there. Crazy stuff with the money, crazy stuff with the land, crazy stuff with Bill Gates. Those 15-minute cities I saw Nemo talking about there in chat and how they relate to the electric vehicles. And I guess you don't really need a road trip if you're only 15 minutes wide. But, excuse me, as we wrap it up here, I just wanted to call that back out because I just thought it was really interesting that shit is still going on. And that people are starting to actually wake up. And that boggles my mind. I really can't believe it. As much as that's what we aim for, it's strange to actually see it happening. Be real curious to see what they try to do with the new COVIDs. Real curious to see how they manage to release that power. Oh, that's my 5-minute warning.
Now you're beeping.
I am beeping. That was my time announce. That was let me know that I'm trying Jingle Palette out because if we're going to do breaks, that's the only way I'm going to do it is if somebody plays me music on the same time every time, and Jingle Palette can do that. So we can just let Jingle Palette roll with our breaks on the half hour or whenever we want to do it. That way we actually get breaks in. I just have to remember to open it up and then I'll have to set up all. There we are. I think we're going to run to an end here, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time. Thank you so much.
It is that time.
Love y'all.
Love you guys.
Love y'all. Thank y'all, guys, man. Thank y'all.
We will see you back here on Wednesday morning for more of the Ironworks right here on Truth. No, look at that. Holy cow. On freeworld.fm. I was kind of hoping everything would be up and running today, but it looks like they've still got the old placeholder website going. So I imagine it was a really busy weekend for Billy Ray. Otherwise, we'll see you Wednesday or Friday. Be good. Be well. We love you. Bye-bye.